In the high-stakes world of justice, clashes between lawyers and police officers can escalate into intense confrontations, revealing riveting narratives of power, truth, and justice. But what happens when the scales of justice tip and the very enforcers of the law are themselves accused of foul play? What drives these lawyers to take on corrupt cops? Is it a matter of personal conviction, or are there deeper motivations at play? And who do you think ultimately emerges victorious in these epic legal battles? Well, let's find out. And if you enjoy our content, remember to hit the like button and subscribe for more intriguing stories that keep you on the edge of your seat. Okay, so this case is about a clueless cop who straight up made up a story about this guy taking pictures in a private parking lot. But this dude wasn't having any of it. He stood his ground and told the cop that he wasn't on any private property at all. He made it clear that he was just standing on the road. But the cop wasn't giving up that easily. He started blabbering about some policy or the other, trying to sound all official. The guy shut the cop down real quick, telling him that he couldn't care less about whatever rules they had because he knew he wasn't trespassing. All he cared about was the law, plain and simple. It was a classic case of someone knowing their rights and not letting anyone push them around. This guy was determined to make it crystal clear that he wasn't doing anything wrong. The cop got all nosy and demanded to know why this guy was filming. But the guy wasn't in the mood to spill the beans. He just didn't want to tell the cop what he was up to. So the cop told him that this was the issue, that filming was seen as suspicious activity. He even claimed that was why he showed up in the first place. But this guy wasn't about to budge. He reminded the cop that he could investigate all he wanted, but there was no way he was going to answer any of the cop's questions. Things took a twist when the police officer confirmed that the guy was technically detained, but struggled to articulate a valid reason for this detention. The citizen repeatedly asked for the officer's reasonable, articulable suspicion for detaining him, but the officer could only point to the act of taking pictures as the reason. The guy even tried to clarify his point by mentioning Google cars, but it only seemed to confuse the officer more. As this first officer struggled to explain the situation, his colleague arrived, and the citizen took it upon himself to educate this officer about his rights. He repeated that he wasn't on private property, but on a public roadway, taking pictures of what he could see from there. Another interesting twist occurred when the person who had apparently called the police chimed in, expressing concerns about security. The guy responded by pointing out that he couldn't trespass his eyes and used logic to challenge the caller. The officers seemed uncertain about the boundaries and their authority, making contradictory statements about whether the citizen had to provide identification. The guy then reminded them that in their state, they weren't in a stop and ID area, meaning he wasn't legally obligated to provide identification. The situation escalated as the first officer refused to apologize for his actions, while the second officer claimed that it was illegal to film the property. The guy declined to provide identification and asked if he was free to leave, to which they asked if they could leave, to which the officers agreed to, likely to avoid potential lawsuits. As they appeared on the scene, the officers exhibited hostility and threatened to arrest the citizen without citing any specific crime. One officer even left when asked about the alleged offense. The situation appeared to briefly improve when another officer arrived, but he accused the guy and his companions of trespassing at the city hall, which the guy refuted. Tensions escalated further as the officers refused to give their names and badge numbers, violating their own policy. The citizen accused the officers of intimidation and reminded them of their duty to protect citizens' rights. The encounter ended with the officers leaving, while the citizen pointed out that the incident would likely find its way onto the internet. Like this guy who stood his ground and didn't let the cops push him around, it's important to know our rights and not be afraid to stand up for them, even when dealing with police. It's a testament to the idea that a respectful and informed citizen can make a real difference in ensuring those rights are protected. We hope this story has been both educational and thought-provoking for you. Now, we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever had an encounter with the police where you had to assert your rights or found it challenging to do so? Share your experiences and opinions in the comments below. If you found this story thought-provoking, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe for more similar content.